Yes, this is the man from Buzzrock again. And as you can see, I've tried to step away and just watch the ride. As as my brethren Bob Cosmic have said, Rasta no mix up in a no bangarang. But I have to point out to the eye them now that I don't have to tell them again where I come from, because I tell them where I come from, and I tell them say a different thing which part I come from down a Buzzrock back a while. Yeah. And when I first start utter, everyone was shocked. And everyone was like, where the man you come from? We never know so Rasta stand pan them grounds there. But I must point out now that I keep saying the chicken come home to roast. Because what is happening now, since I start utter, a lot of back-a-wall people is now opening up their mouth. For instance, all who did that preach say, boy, a badness me a deal with because they may try to suppress the level of Rastafari where the foundation it stand upon. They are now changing the tune. So now, I have to make a quick one now because as a Rasta man, a utter for the longest, I just hear one of my little sistren who happen to be Iron's little daughter. And if you never know, I think, if I'm not correct, I think it's back a while she come from too. Because I already not telling the geography a back a while. So this is a back a while baby, woman, child, who is now taking a position. And I want you to listen to her keenly and carefully. Because I don't hear no water. I don't hear no water in her mouth. Because me was the first one. But telling her say, that little boy when named Sizzler did need put back in him place. And here a daughter telling her same need drape up. But I'm going to make sure tell you herself.
Love Rastafari. Give thanks, I love it. Give thanks, you know. And whenever time they open their Irit and Express, it reminded myself of the 1983 assembly that took place there in Jamaica on the campus of the University of the West Indies. That was the first place I saw the I love it, ancient Bongo Wisely. But you know the chant that came into my Irits while I'm speaking and while I'm just listening and navigating through all the happenings. What aberration. These are not mere words, you know, man. When I sit up on the Nyabingi drum, you know, and the fire, you know, and hold the agitation of fire, is divine majesty, highly Selassie the first, you know, and the simple things, you know. What a jubilation! What a desolation! Yes, come down on Babylon. Yes, the wind blow east, and the wind blow west. Yes, it sound like a judgment morning. Allo, never, never, yield Rastafari. Yes, no worry to heal him again. There's a lot of bandwagonists. And they're really watering down that heretical strength of the Nyabingi order. And it needs the intervention of all of I and I who sees what is happening right at this time. The family is calling I and I. This is the calling. So long Rastafari calling, so long. And the enemy surround I and I. And they are trying to devour I and I. But one of the things that I need there is to look at, and a lot of one play, blind eye to this reality that I and I, Sister Barbara Blake Anna, sits inside of the Ministry of Culture as the Rastafari liaison, and they also have an advisory. What role did she play and who is she reporting to on behalf of the Rastafari? That it was herself, under the leadership of the GLP government, who said bring them in dead or alive. And the brother, Sizzla Kalanji, who was up front in the representation. I mean, I understand Ras Caleb being a part of it, and he's excited as a young imple being around the Crown Council and the royal family, and rightly so. But when I first saw Prince Ermias in 1996, was the first time I set eyes on him down there in Montego Bay. Bongo Water was there, Bingi Irie, Ras Ivy, and some others. I don't quite remember some of the others. And I met with him inside of that place that he was at, that hotel that he was at. They didn't even want the Rastafari to see him because they have been coercing this process for him to somewhat subtly denounce Rastafari position as holding Ionized Haile Selassie the First as Ivine. They've been doing that. They've been trying to do that for the longest time. And that was one of the reasons why they opened the space for His Majesty Haile Selassie the First to come to Jamaica in 1966, for him to denounce the Rastafari. But he didn't do that. So when Prince Ermias is taking up that on himself, now he have to know where he do. Because the Rastafari is the only one who have held Haile Selassie the First and his divine path globally, mystically, metaphysically, psychologically, in all realms. Rastafari have held Haile Selassie. That even make them to can come and stand within the space and represent under the premise of the Crown Council. He has to know that. But the Ministry of Culture has been the Rastafari Congo Lion. The Rastafari has been entangled. The leadership of the Rastafari, and particularly the Nyabingi, has been entangled with those people. The leadership of the community, and I need to hit the nail on the head and address the matter fair and square in a space where I know it is appropriate to address matters of that nature. Otherwise, I going to continue going around in the same situation time and time again. She was the one who said, no more Rasta for me. You know what that did to me as a young person? I love it. That this woman, I see her, I expecting her from a distance to say, yeah, man, even though, she's not grassroots, she's from up in the upper class of the community, she can be a voice for an eye within the space that she's from and that she lives. And when I saw the article, no more Rasta for me, and up to today, there has been no explanation. Probably there has been, but in the eyes of the public, Rastafari, there's no explanation as to why she held that position. And that's okay. It's your personal view. People change as they move over time. And then she sat on the Reparation Commission as leader. And then time after, in the paper, in the public in Jamaica, it comes out again. And these are the ways in which they weaken or try to weaken the community and cause disillusion within the minds of those who seek in the proper leadership. She said she cannot sit in the leadership position anymore of the Reparation Commission because it is affecting the relationship between her and her friends or white friends. and she was moved from there. However process she went through. These are questionable situation that has never been explained to the Rastafari. At least I never hear within INI's quarters. And then now, the same person is sitting as the Rastafari liaison. What kind of confliction is that? And I allow these things to happen. I love it. Picking up this lady, and rightly so, she have done her work. And she's to get awarded for her work. But she cannot sit in that position in representing Rastafari because it's a conflict of interest. Why I fail to recognize that and fail to address it because them sitting at the position that them sitting and I am friend with that one. You don't hear what the chant say. You think it's joke? Then Naya Bingy chant say, no mother, no father, no sister, no brother. Only Rastafari will be there to welcome my. Is a reason why I and I stand strong on this word, sound, and power that I and I have exerted and expressed throughout time. That is what make I and I peculiar. I and I are a peculiar set of people, but there are those of I and I who seeks proper leadership. And when it is not there, the people become disillusioned and confused. And the system love that. I and I have to address the leadership of the Rastafari. Because they use a word, they say, because they found that he's weak and he can be easily infiltrated. That is what is happening in the community. You don't see that they don't deal with the Naya Bingi anymore. Everybody, them have the Bingi straw, them have this one knocking Bingi drum, and this one knocking. But the root and anciency that make I and I different from the others and hold that wholesome heretical strength, it's not there. They're not using that platform anymore. They have their people with locks and this and that and watering down the fullness of Rastafari. The women feel like we can do anything and dress anyway. I and I are peculiar people, and I'm not saying that I and I are not to free up I and I self, but I and I can be commoners. In spite of our imperfection, there's an image that I and I is supposed to be representing, and that is what caused the government of Jamaica to be so presumptuous today after all I and I have done, even in this recent time, that they have made an apology about the atrocities that was meted out onto Rastafari. And the same people where them claim that they make the atrocities, the apology to, it's the same people they have been traumatizing. They did that to Bingi Irie Lion. Forget about Bingi Irie Lion being my father. But Bingi Irie, as a Rastafari image, represents something that reckon with the truthfulness of the Rastafari, not just in Jamaica locally, but internationally. And when I and I, because I and I personal vendetta with each other and personal confliction in I and I's relationship, the Rastafari collective failed to address that situation. You don't think the government look at that and call I and I a set of nothingness? Because our ancient are looked at as the vanguard, our matriarch and patriarch, the vanguard of the movement. And as I said time and time and time again, the door of the custodian was kicked off, and I played a blind eye because I and I become personal confliction or conflicted with each other. And then after that, the amount of things that happened to I and I's family, the 7-year-old who was banned. You can imagine a 7-year-old being banned through the court system of Jamaica. And then through the legal system, the law enforcement system, our teenager, our young woman was violated. And the community was very partial in dealing with these issues. It's a science I and I working against I and I self. So I and I have to look within I and I self what it is, as they rightly said, that I and I are not getting together. This partiality that is going on in the community has to stop. Everyone, I'm noticing, every one of these people want to be in the spotlight, and some of them do not have a clue how to operate when they're in the spotlight. And then them create misrepresentation and claiming that them representing on behalf of the Rastafari. And the Naya Bingi, without a doubt, have set precedent right across the globe for the Rastafari. Whether it was in the United Nations through Abongo Watto and the others that he traded with, or whether it was in Washington, D.C. or the John Hopkins University, in the Caribbean, in Guyana, in Africa, wherever I and I went, the Naya Bingi order set a precedent that is peculiar coming out of the root of Africa. And it has been watered down so nastily, and many of I and I are playing a blind eye. That is why these terrible-minded people are stepping over and stepping in and stepping up on I and I. What we expect. They don't mean I and I no good. And you see that Sizzler? He needs to be draped up. Yeah. He needs to be friggin' draped up. Excuse my language. He needs to be draped up. And the sister Barbara Blake Anna needs to answer to the community about what was the coordination in terms of Prince Ermias going to Jamaica. Because Prince Ermias only been to Jamaica or was invited to Jamaica under the premise of Rastafari. Because the government of Jamaica denounced Rastafari. So now today them have talk about build statue and them the school, the Haile Selassie school down there in a deplorable condition. And them talking about giving the Honorable Leonard Howell an award when them still have the land, confiscate the land from the Rastafari and the Rastafari landless. And them talking, the Bob Marley people, them talking this and that. And they were some of the first people with locks who take away the land from the Rastafari without any clarity. And then, them better be careful, yeah, man. Them better be friggin' careful. Excuse my language here. Them better be careful. Because the hotter the battle, the sweeter the victory. And I don't have no doubt about that. The premise that the conquering man lion have stood on and still standing on in this time. And I take in my eyes with wise mind knowledge and ever standing for those who have ears to hear and have eyes to see and have vision to reckon with the future. Hail Rastafari.
Him live. That was a precise update of where I and I stand today in the Gideon. That was a sister from outer Bakawal come to give you an update. Like I said, I have been saying all these things and I have been saying the thing come to a standstill and I don't know how it come to the standstill. And I have found out that I have fall forward in confusion, not knowing where this thing going. So until such time, I will now go and take this call because this brethren have been calling I for the longest.